I've often wondered about you in particular because who did you piss off?
I
No,
know.
no, 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 and I'm serious, in your life in particular, because with you, it really is starting to feel very personal.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that you cover is stuff that other people cover and even people with bigger platforms cover. So it isn't that what is it? Who is this? Who is
Well,
trying to hurt you?
can I say one thing real quick? You know, we're
Yeah.
friendly with Tom Hartman as well. And the
Yeah.
one thing that is so distinct is that the two of you were in a situation where when things really started to move in the summer of 2015, you were part of RT. You went one direction and Tom went in another direction. And I'm going to leave it at that. And that's pretty
Yeah.
much what happened. That's what happened.
So
And
tell
Yeah.
us who hates you, Lee?
I I think the probably the biggest thing is having worked for RT, but you're right. After a certain point, I don't know that it really
It was
mattered.
before that, though. Like
Well, yeah,
you
yeah.
were
No, I'll get to more, but I think it's a combination of having worked for RT. I haven't been there in 4 years, but that doesn't seem to matter. But then also on top of that being anti-Israel, on top of that calling out capitalism a lot, which I think there's a lot of people that are kind of in the same area as the stuff that I do who won't really say the word capitalism. And so and then on top of that, you throw on top of that all the JFK assassination stuff, CIA stuff I've done. I think it's kind of like all of that together. And there's a lot of people that have kind of one or two of those, but maybe it's the fact that I have all of those that is really you're right. It does seem personal, and I actually think it's easy to say, oh, the algorithm is hard on certain things, which it absolutely is. Israel in the title is going to be somewhat suppressed, etc. But this seems like there's got to be a human involved. Yeah. A good example was I've been shadow banned at Facebook since 2016. I couldn't gain past 330,000 followers, which is where I was. And then 6 months ago, I happened to just like on a whim, I hadn't tweeted at Facebook in 10 years. I tweeted at Facebook and said, why am I shadow banned? Like, what is it I've said? Please let me know. That's so horrible. And they undid it for like 3 months. And I gained 30,000 followers. And now I'm stuck again. So...
Yeah. Well, it's like they'll let you get so far, but it's weird when I just never understand how some people with bigger platforms get away with saying so much more stuff. I mean, not that I think anybody should be shut down, because I don't think anybody should be shut down.
all you have to do is just look at how, certain people in, high places conduct business. I mean, we've covered Tim Pool and how he changed in such a dramatic way. Not that he was, not that he didn't, he wasn't a clickbaiter to begin with in many respects, but he is a prime example of somebody who came from real journalism and decided, no, I want to be rich. I want the money, I want the power, and I want a wealthy company.
I think there's a lot of those. I think that's a lot of it is a slow shift where they start moving towards the clicks a little bit and they don't think much of it, and then 5 years later they somehow have polar opposite positions on a lot of things. So
you think it happens gradually? I think it's a combination of that, maybe, but I think it could be more nefarious. I think it's just a matter of who's paying, who's outbidding who for your soul.
Well, there are those. There are definitely those who are like, oh, the money's on the other side. I'm there.
Yeah.
But I think with several of the people I'm thinking of, it was a little more of a slow build where they just thought, oh, I'll talk about that because that gets clicks. Oh, I'll talk about that because that's getting a lot of clicks. And yeah, but before you know it, you're like, wait, what happened to that? He was just here. I swear he was just standing here and now he's gone,
Yeah.
Yeah, we notice that on our channel. I mean, there are things that we cover that do tremendously well. And then there are things that we cover, we could have a clip, you just look at our track for like the last week, you'll see clips that do 30, 40,000 views. And then you'll see ones that do 2,000 views. And it's obvious that if we just wanted to play into the algorithm, if the only object was to make money, then we wouldn't be a channel that was based on what is actually of importance, of especially vitality in these moments right now. the only thing that was driving it was based on that, then we could go down that road. But then what's the point? Why are we doing this? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. And I
that's
keep doing the coverage that I feel is important, even though it's not off. It's often not where the clicks are. Sometimes what I'm talking about will align with what gets the most views to some degree, but a lot of the time, like I'm still doing I'm still shit talking capitalism every day, even though not one of those clips ever does well.
Right.
I'm still talking about climate crisis, even though those clips always do garbage.
Yeah.
So it's like these things are too important for me. Like, what am I just gonna let the world fry because it didn't get a good
But
number of views? Like,
so what happened recently that was different? Because you've always been suppressed. So now what are you doing and what have you shifted to try to help maintain your livelihood? Because that's really, I mean, it's harassment and it's unbelievable. Like it's just, yeah.
yeah, so I don't want to assume that everybody knows my
Yeah.
story. I'll give the 1 minute rundown for those
Yeah.
who've never heard any of it. I had a popular YouTube channel called Moment of Clarity, got a TV show called Redacted Tonight that was once a week comedy news. People called it Jon Stewart or The Daily Show with teeth, and it did really well until 2016 when we nearly got Bernie Sanders elected, and then the Justice Department had a meeting where they didn't say this outwardly, but everything became shadow banned. And so we still continued to do okay, but a fraction of our numbers a fraction of the numbers that we used to have. And the show continued until 2022 when the U.S. government sanctioned the channel into oblivion. At that point, I had a show for 10 months with Mint Press that was always heavily suppressed. So it wasn't their fault. It's just nothing could do any numbers at all. And then a little over a year ago, I decided to recreate Redacted Tonight with completely independent, funding it myself. Smaller, but same idea, weekly comedy news, leftist show. And at first, it was actually like, I think it was just beating the algorithm that was the suppression that was put on us. And for the first 3 months or so, it grew organically. Like the numbers go up every week and some videos pop off and do really well. And then they just shut it. I don't know what happened. They just shut it down, and everything did utterly horrible. And you can actually look, the haters would love to be like, it's just because you suck, man, and nobody wants to watch it. But you can look at the analytics and see like, oh, at this moment, they decided, you can see, to stop telling people like subscribers about because they'll tell you percentage based on subscriptions that watched your show. And you can tell, oh, they just stopped telling subscribers about it. They stopped YouTube stops recommending it to anybody. So after several more months, so just 2 weeks ago or so, I decided to call it quits on that show. I still have my live streams going 3 times a week, but Unredacted Tonight had to end because I just can't spend that amount of money and time, effort on something that can't grow at all. And so in terms of your question of what I do now, I still have my live streams 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at youtube.com/moment of clarity. And my Substack, I've been writing a lot more columns. So reallycamp.substack.com is where I've been putting more of my effort. And yeah, I just try and throw a lot of shit at the wall and keep doing important work as much as I can.
Do you find that Substack is beneficial?
Substack, it seems, is more organic at the moment. Now, I'm sure next week they will sell off to some venture capital firm owned by Ellison, and he will pay 10 times what they're worth, and it'll be gone. That won't shock me. But at the moment, I think because they're not, the top 3 platforms, they seem to be largely organic, which basically means like if you have subscribers, they will tell your subscribers about a post you put up. I mean, it seems so common sense, but once these platforms get either bought out or just get big enough, they're like, yeah, well, we don't really want to tell your subscribers about the things you're doing, so we're going to stop doing that.
I think it's also more a matter of that you're competing with the narrative they do want people to hear. right? So it's like they're going to be recommending whatever Zio capitalist trash they're going to be recommending, and there's no shortage of it now. They'll just keep pumping that out, buying off content creators, creating stupid ass AI videos, and just trying to flood the space with garbage. That's what I find so much of that.
People underestimate the effect, the impact of flooding the space. Like, they don't have to ban our channel. I mean, I had my first YouTube channel banned, my TikTok banned, and my Spotify podcast banned. So they do that as well. But they don't have to ban things. A combination of suppression and flooding everybody's feed with the opposite view or with garbage. And the vast majority of people are lazy enough that they don't go to your channel. They're not like, people don't type in a website anymore. They just go to YouTube and see what YouTube tells them to watch. So,
I look back on how we first came in contact, how we first, I became aware of you. When you really think about RT America and what it was back in 2015, it was you, it was Tom, it was Abby Martin, it was Ed Schultz, it was Jesse Ventura. There was really something of a true movement in terms of left populism that was growing. And it culminated in Bernie probably winning it, and we'll never know it because of the activities of Wasserman Schultz and many others. But today, we're seeing all of the signs of what Big Brother is willing to do to shut everybody up. And I have to ask myself, I would ask you, how much more do you think the average person is going to take before they realize that everything's going to be sucked up from under you if you don't fight back?
I don't know how much it'll take. I mean, we're certainly witnessing that they can fry a lot of the world and most people won't stand up. But, hope springs eternal, and you do see a lot of people fighting back in a variety of ways. I think we need, but part of the reason I do what I do, and I think you do what you do, is we need a revolution of the mind. We need people to wake up before they'll stand up to a great degree. Luckily, Israel is helping do that. I mean, Israel has helped wake a lot of people up to the utter atrocities that both Israel and the U.S. will commit. So. There is movement.
I mean, and this is one of the reasons I actually appreciate Donald Trump. And I've been saying this since 2015. He facilitates the revolution like no other. He's the most honest liar that's ever been in that position.
That's correct. We only heard honest. That's important.
I'm sure that's the part you heard. But he really, talk about between him and the genocidal entity. I feel like those two simultaneous things is like this perfect storm of a level of hubris that's gonna put us in our place.